Expedition 2006 influences and birth of the game. Restarting, refresh. Let's do this. The pulp adventure tradition. Hollow Earth Expedition was created as a tribute to the pulp adventure stories that dominated magazines, novels during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. These stories focused on brave explorers, hidden worlds, lost civilizations, strange creatures, daring rescues, and constant adventure. Good, good, good. Rather than trying to simulate reality, they aim to entertain readers with excitement and discovery. The spirit sits at the heart of Hollow Earth Expedition storytelling. Pulp fiction and two-fisted heroes. The game is also heavily influenced by the different adventures that appeared in movie theaters during the 1930s and 1940s. These stories were filled with cliffhangers, daring escapes, ancient secrets, hidden temples, air battles, lost treasure, and larger-than-life heroes who always seem to find themselves in trouble. Much of Hollow Earth Expedition's tone comes from this tradition of fast-moving, action-packed adventure. So you know you're going to get some cinematic play in this game. Okay. Edgar Rice Burroughs and Pellucidar. I hope I'm saying that right. The single biggest influence of the game is Edgar Rice Burroughs' Pellucidar. In those novels, explorers discover a vast world hidden inside of the earth. Dinosaurs roam the landscape. Ancient civilizations survive in isolation, and adventures await beyond horizon. Anyone familiar with Pellucidar will immediately recognize the foundations upon which Hollow Earth Expedition was built. The Lost World influence. Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World was another major inspiration. The idea of modern explorers entering an isolated region filled with prehistoric creatures became one of the defining elements of pulp adventure fiction. Like Doyle's explorers, characters in Hollow Earth Expedition often find themselves venturing into places that should not exist, confronting creatures and civilizations thought lost to history. Jules Verne and exploration fiction. The works of Jules Verne also helped shape the game's outlook. Verne's stories emphasized exploration, scientific discovery, and journeys into the unknown. Hollow Earth Expedition embraces those same themes, encouraging characters to uncover mysteries rather than simply defeat enemies. Discovery is often just as important as combat. The Hollow Earth myth. The game also draws inspiration from the centuries of Hollow Earth theories and speculative fiction. Various writers, explorers, and theorists imagine vast realms might exist beneath the Earth's surface. Hollow Earth Expedition takes those ideas and asks a simple question. What if they were true? Everything that follows grows from that premise. Oh, I hear you, Black Rose. So do I. Yep. This is where lizard men come from. Under the earth type of thing. More than one influence. While Pellucidar is the clearest influence, Hollow Earth Expedition is not an adaptation of any single source. Instead, it combines Lost World fiction, pulp adventure novels, different movies, exploration stories, treasure hunting adventures, and Hollow Earth mythology into a single setting. The result feels familiar to fans of classic pulp fiction while remaining its own distinct world. Creating a modern pulp RPG by the early 2000s, many role-playing games were emphasizing darker themes, detailed simulation, or increasingly complex rules. Exile Game Studios chose a different path. Their goal was to create a game that captured the optimism, excitement, and larger-than-life action of classic adventure fiction. Instead of focusing on realism, the game focuses on heroic exploits, exploration, and cinematic action. The Ubiquity System. Hollow Earth Expedition introduced the Ubiquity System. The rules were designed to support cinematic action, remain easy to learn, and keep adventures moving quickly. Rather than slowing the game down with excessive complexity, the mechanics were built to reinforce the fast-paced adventure stories that inspired the setting. The system reflects the same design philosophy as setting. Adventure first. Let me give you a little dice thing on that Black Rose. I'll tell you off the top of my head. If you don't remember, it's about successes and failures. You get a dice pool, and it could be from D4 up to D12. And you add your ability and skill. For example, say you're using a skill, the game master might tell you need 3 successes. If successes were even numbers, failures were odd numbers. You roll your pool. If you got your 3, good. If you roll more than 3, the game master could actually say there's benefits to it, like you've done it better or faster, depending on how many successes you have. If you roll no success at all, like 0, that could be considered critical failure, and you fail more than just normally you would. So there's almost a way to judge that. Then if you're doing combat, it's a little bit different. You get a pool. The person you're attacking gets a pool of dice, and when you attack, it's really competing your successes over theirs, and if you get more, you're successful. You're hitting. Birth of the game. Exile games. So it's really simple. So it does back up what they're saying. A very simple system. Birth of the game. Exile Game Studios released Hollow Earth Expedition in 2006. The game is set in an alternative version of 1936. A world where explorers, scientists, adventurers, spies, soldiers, treasure hunters, and secret societies race to uncover the mysteries hidden beneath the earth. It's like Savage Worlds system. I might mix with another you had stream on, so no offense, it did mix it up. It might mix with another system. Yeah, I mean, there's other game pools. There's other games. I'm just saying, I'm giving you a simple rundown on it. It is meant to be just simple, right? So it supports that statement that it's meant to be simple for the sake of speed and fast. Some of the other dice pool games could be just like D6s. This one is just a variety, yeah, of course, right? Just sort of reminding you. Plus, we got to remember other people might not watch certain things later, so might just be watching this, and I want to get certain details. And the game quickly becomes the company's flagship product and help establish a ubiquity system within the role-playing hobby. Rather than adapting existing property, the designers created their own pulp universe and blended dinosaurs, lost civilizations, secret societies, ancient mysteries, and exploration into a single setting. Why it found an audience. Many players were looking for something different from traditional fantasy and science fiction role-playing games. I remember some of the guys that were covering this, like a guy I know, a YouTuber, Ruinslinger, and guys like that did not like D&D, but they love games like this. And when you get the game, it really comes with a lot of things that make you, like the material for the game is to make you feel like you're in that timeline, you're in that gimmick. Hollow Earth Expedition offered a complete pulp adventure setting that required very little work from the game master to get started. Oh, no, I know you did. It's just one of those things where I'm covering my core. I know you get it. I know you get it. But it's just me giving you the rundowns. Like here's what they mean. But yeah, it's okay. Classic adventure stories, making it appealing to fans of exploration, treasure hunting, and Lost World fiction. I like it because I like the idea of Lost World. I like pulp fiction that way, combining things, going under earth, finding potentially like adventure, dinosaurs. I remember Lost World in that way. Why it matters. Hollow Earth Expedition arrived at a time when relatively few RPGs were focused entirely on classic pulp adventures. Instead of horror, dystopia, or gritty realism, it embraced exploration, heroics, and wonder. For many players, it became one of the definitive modern pulp role-playing games. Hollow Earth Expedition is a love letter to classic pulp adventure fiction, drawing inspiration from Lucidar, The Lost World, Jules Verne's movie, different movies, Hollow Earth mythology. It sends heroes into a hidden world beneath the earth, filled with dinosaurs, lost civilizations, ancient mysteries, rival expeditions, who we're talking about there, and nonstop adventures. Trust me, we'll get to that. We'll get to who that is, rivals. Oh my. Oh, there we go. Back to roll. What was I doing? Oh, crazy there, my buddy boy. Okay, I'm going to put this out. All right. Hollow Earth Expedition, how to run it. First rule, embrace pulp adventure clearly. Hollow Earth Expedition is not a survival game, military simulation, or gritty historical campaign. It works best when characters are bold, capable, and willing to throw themselves into danger. Players should feel like heroes from a pulp novel or different adventure movie, not ordinary people trying to avoid risk. It it is storytelling, but you're doing like a TV show type of take on it. Think of it like a TV show. It does want cinematic, but so when I say storytelling, it's not like normal storytelling. It wants action. It wants like a James Bond type of cinematic action. So it does want action almost like a game, but it is focused on make sure the character is established, credible. These are not like farmers trying to build up. Be nice to the fact that they're somebody's. Like the dice should mostly be on their side. Things should be a little easy to achieve, right? So it's chances of success are pretty high. Become very Hollow Earth like there for a moment. Became very encourage larger than life characters. The game assumes player characters are exceptional individuals, not superheroes, but the kind of people who become the stars of adventure stories. Because this is actual storytelling. Right? Remember, I've done comic book, Prince Valiant, DC hero storytelling. I've done novel storytelling, Pendragon, Castle Falkenstein, covering, I mean. That's novel storytelling. This is storytelling for a TV show type of take on storytelling. So a bit different, right? But it is about story. So the characters are meant to be characters in a story, not a story emerging. Characters might be famous explorers, famous explorers, brilliant scientists, daring pilots, archaeologists, treasure hunters, occult experts, soldiers of fortune, master criminals, veteran adventurers. The game works best when characters are actively seek adventure rather than wait for it to find them. So you want players that are not waiting for the game master to bring something to them, but they're after. Like they know they want to adventure, find something, look for something, and they're going to actively get up and get moving. Like that's have a real good talk with your players before the game starts. It's look, I could put stuff in front of you. You guys could sit at a table for a half an hour doing nothing. But really the game wants you to take the initiative. All right? Take the initiative. I can throw hints in, but take the initiative. Keep the adventure moving. So, Game Master, you want to put so much stuff, maybe some pressure to pay something would be good. Traveler pressure to get them moving on your end, right? Pulp stories move quickly. Avoid spending excessive time on shopping, travel, logistics, equipment lists, or detailed planning. The focus should be on discovery, dangers, mysteries, and action. When in doubt, move the story forward. Meaning, what I would say is, when you start the game, it'd be good to say you pretty much already have all the equipment you need. Right? Like, you've already been out shopping. You guys, and maybe have a talk with the players. Like, what are going to be your plans when you start the game? Like, have an idea. Like, have them know what they want to do even before you say start. So that's already been planned out. You already talked about it, on the phone, on the thing before you got here. You guys know what you're here to do, and there's somebody that wants to meet you. Maybe the NPC that could put you on to the next thing is already waiting for you. He has to meet you. Have to go meet him right away. So when in doubt, move the story forward. Discovery is as important as combat. Many GMs see dinosaurs and immediately focus on combat encounters. This is only part of the game's appeal. The real heart of Hollow Earth Expedition is exploration. Players should constantly be finding lost cities, strange creatures, ancient ruins, forgotten technologies, hidden civilizations, mysterious landmarks. The world should always feel larger than what the players currently know. So they travel so far, they're like, you see a man, looks like buildings off in the distance. Right? Always have them aiming at something, finding something, coming across something. Like, you guys see a weird statue, like out in the middle of nowhere. Like, huh? And yes, you want them to feel like they're always finding hints leading to something. So there's always something encountering, something leading, a sign of something. Man, there's an old parachute stuck to that tree. Oh, there's a guy around here. What was he looking for? Right? And maybe there's some path that you see almost like tracks, like boom. So it's directing players with their characters where you want them to go and discover stuff and encounter stuff. So the experience of actually interacting with things becomes very important in the game. Surface world matters too. Many people hear the title and assume the campaign should begin underground. In practice, a great deal of adventure can happen on the surface. Expeditions must be organized, clues uncovered, rivals tracked, artifacts recovered, and mystery investigated before the Hollow Earth is ever reached. A globe-trotting pulp adventure on the surface can be just as entertaining as one beneath the earth. Meaning, before you can even find the map to get under earth, maybe you need to find the map. Maybe you know someone who has a map, but you got to find him. He's not there. There's signs of where he went. So you got to go there. Oh, you find out he actually found an item when he was down there and he brought it to the surface. You want to get that item just to see if it's real. Did he actually find something? Yeah, it's that type of thinking, right? Make the world feel adventurous and dangerous. The world should feel dangerous, but focus should remain on adventure rather than survival. Dinosaurs, hostile wildlife, ancient ruins, rival expeditions, secret societies, and natural hazards should create excitement and tension. The goal is not to make players afraid to act. The goal is to make every discovery feel like it comes with some risk. So what you do is there's always a risk, but remember to be nice. The dice should mostly be on their side. The chances of failure only at rare occasions should it be extreme. Most times it should be pretty easy to succeed with a small chance of failure. So there is that feel of risk to take. Like you got to roll the dice; it's not automatic, but the chances that you succeed are more likely than not. It's fantastic setting for adventure. Absolutely anything could happen. Yep, I remember the old movies from the 1960s. Old movies. I remember TV shows too that tried to copy a lot of this stuff later. And that's really, they aim a lot more at the TV shows, even though it's taken the TV shows that were inspired by the old movies and by the old, storytelling, right? So it's, I forget exactly what TV shows I would say are best to sort of describe this, but there is sort of like the Lost World TV show that had a lot of stuff in it, like Pulp Fiction, all this type of stuff, dinosaurs running into lizard people. Let the heroes be competent. The protagonists of Pulp Fictions are usually capable people. Again, this is where the chances of their success, like, okay, you only need 3 successes to get past this. You don't need 5, right? Like the chances of them likely doing it, because they are high, they're not weaker characters, right? So in most cases, the successes needed should be quite easy because they're considered credible characters. That's why it's so easy, not because just the game's easy. It's because the characters are considered very fucking skilled at what they do. Memories are a bit vague, yeah, totally. But yeah, I like the TV show because the TV show takes a sort of idea of a lot of the stuff that the game is already trying to do, and the game is trying to sort of do something like what the TV show was doing, right? People should feel effective at what they do. When trouble arises, it's often more interesting if success creates a new complication rather than constant failure making heroes look foolish. The danger should come with challenges they face, not the characters being incompetent. Meaning, it doesn't hurt to keep making things where they got to roll and take chances, right? Again, the rolls aren't impossible, but instead of having it where it's like, it's all these hard rolls, it's just all these rolls. You get past this thing, oh, you got over there. But man, there's something over here, dude. All right, that's not like those steps don't look, something's wrong with them. There's another challenge. What are those steps are a trap? So traps, oh my. This is a game where puzzles and traps can be actually, unlike D&D, there's more of a reason to actually use that type of stuff here. So if you're into puzzles and traps, oh my, what a great location. And it can be justified because these can be old traps set up to make it that people do not find things, right? And do not get into places so easy. But I would also consider this. If you put traps in, you'd be like, well, how would the people get back to it? Well, there probably is another path in. Right? So they could go down the steps, or if they're really wise, they look around. Right? Could be other entrances. That would be safer for the people in the know. Right? Use rivals frequently. Some of the best pulp stories involve competition. A rival expedition can often be more interesting than a monster. Consider using treasure hunters, secret societies, criminal organizations, military forces, enemy explorers, academic rivals. The goal is to create reoccurring opponents who compete with the heroes for discoveries. Could be another science team who refuses to work with you because they want to get the stuff for other reasons. So if they get the stuff, they don't want you to even know it exists. But you think the world should know. Hence, there's your competition. The reason you're going to compete is you can't be on the same page. Right? And you can't help them because they want to hide it. You want to discover it. Right? They don't want the world to know. You're okay with the world knowing. Reward curiosity. Players should benefit from investigating mysteries. If they explore the side passage, question the local guide, study the strange artifact, or follow the unusual clue, something interesting should happen. Curiosity drives pulp adventure. The game works best when players want to discover what is beyond the next horizon. Meaning, it's like if they go after, they check the thing they found. Well, what if that points to something else, like a greater treasure? There's like a code or a small map on something. Like, where does that lead to? Like, always, like, there's more to something than there is. The clue is an actual clue, right? So it's when they question the local guide, the guide does tell them something that might lead them somewhere. It's important to actually make sure that's a real thing. So if the guide's going to tell them something, it should be to potentially get them somewhere else. Pulp logic over realism. The setting is inspired by adventure fiction, not scientific simulation. Players will occasionally ask questions that do not have realistic answers. That is perfectly normal. When forced to choose between realism and excitement, Hollow Earth Expedition generally works best when excitement wins. The setting's goal is wonder and adventure, not scientific accuracy. Storytelling. This is the one part. This is an official part where storytelling is like the excitement. The story is so important to not make boring for the sake of a game that you sometimes go, okay, well, that's a crazy question, but here's your potential answer. Where in a game, if you were being more challenging, you might say you're not going to find anything with that one. So just think more about keeping an exciting story going. It's okay. This is meaning to tell a story. So when you do story gaming, things like this can be justified if that's the intent by design. And that's how people are going to enjoy their experience with this storytelling game. Right? Nothing wrong with it. D&D doesn't have this expectation. That's why you don't do that. But with this game, it does, and it actually is built for it. It's built for it. It actually has the things in there for you to do that and make that thing exciting, and players will enjoy it. Think in episodes. Many of the game's influences came from pulp shows. Individual adventures should often feel like episodes. A typical session might include a mystery, a discovery, a danger, a chase, a cliffhanger, or a major revelation. Oh, it is. The simplicity makes it easy for you to not have to focus on the mechanics. It's so easy, you could just focus on getting this right. So the heat is already off you as a game master. The world is simple to understand and pitch. The rules are simple to fucking play with. They're not all over the place. Pretty straightforward. The only thing you need to do is go with running the game in this way, the way the designer intends. And these ideas, they're already out there, TV show stuff, just layer shit on you. So it's really easy to get this right and then have fun with it. The structure naturally creates the feel of classic adventures, classic like Lost World adventures. Use multiple adventure types. The setting supports more than exploration alone. A long campaign becomes stronger when it rotates between exploration, mystery, investigation, treasure hunting, action, diplomacy, espionage, survival challenges, traps, and whatnot. This variety helps keep adventures fresh and prevents every session from feeling like another trek through the jungle. So don't be afraid of making sure you're trying to hit rotation. You had them explore a bit. All right, by the end of the session, hopefully you get them to the area where they have to, they're going to run into a mystery. Okay, the mystery seems confusing. They go into the mystery. At one point, they're going to find something. That, by the end of the session, leads them to investigation. The investigation leads them to a map that tells them something about a treasure. They go to look for the treasure. Not just find the treasure right away. Maybe they do. They get to the treasure by the end. But guess what? Behind them, who's followed them? The lizard people. Time for some action. After the action, they run up to a place, get to the end, and guess what? There's those damn Nazis. Diplomacy, right? But they talked their way out, but the Nazis might have something. So espionage. Okay, they have to trick them, find something. And then at the end of that, it's like, okay, man, we could get out of here, but there's no straight path other than running through that trap that they're trying to avoid. Let's go for it, man. Let's get through the trap. Let's deal with the trap and get through. Survival challenges. Then, after they get through the trap, they get away. Boom! Victory, baby. Maybe you start over again. Victory. Oh, they got past that. Now the Nazis can't chase them. But guess what? They ran into a new area. We're back to exploration, baby. This variety helps keep the adventure fresh and prevents every session from feeling like another trek through the jungle. Mix wonder with action. Do not turn every discovery into a fight. Sometimes the reward should simply be seeing something amazing. Like, man, they finally got to the end. We have found the city. This thing is awesome. Make them feel like a wow moment, like the reward, like success. Let them feel success. Let them feel success. Sometimes it's okay as a game master just to stop and let the group win. Like they found it. No fight coming. It's not every second the adventure has to be moving forward. It's okay to take a 5-minute breath. Explain to them to the beautiful area they're seeing. Let them verbally talk between the characters about what they found. Take it in. Describe. Give them their win. A lost city, a prehistoric ecosystem, an ancient machine, or a civilization untouched by modern world can be memorable without combat. Wonder is one of the setting's greatest strengths. If they found something fucking amazing, let them find it. Make sure there are amazing things just to be found. Like, we found a place that's untouched. Like, this place was left by a tribe, but like there's stuff out. But like the timeline of it, it's like being able to imagine you were an archaeologist, but you don't have to be an archaeologist here. Everything is on the surface, man. It's not dug down. You can see the bowls. You can see the thing. You can see the way the buildings were designed in the town. You can walk through it. And there's no traps. Right? You don't know exactly what got the people to go. You're not going to get, but you get this look at history fresh. Not a remake of it in a museum, but the real thing. The real thing. Or maybe you do come along where there's people. They're not attacking. They're just living there. What an amazing! So let people have their victories. Let it feel amazing. Sell that to them, but make people have to go through the exploration, the mystery. They get there. Here's your victory, baby. Because after they go through the gauntlet, that reward will feel good. Make sure there's a gauntlet first. Then you get your reward. Use cliffhangers. The game's inspiration loves cliffhangers. Whenever possible, end sessions with a shocking discovery. Like, man, you finally see this amazing gem. We stop there. What? Or a sudden betrayal. You know the guy that was helping you? Yeah. He slams the door. Slams the door. What? He's like, sorry, fellas. I'll see you again, maybe. Huh? Session ends there. You mean he's like, shut it closed? Like, yeah. We just got fucked. Yep. Or a big monster appearance. Man, this giant head comes through the cavern opening of a snake. A massive snake. A giant snake. Something big enough to bite you and eat you. We end there. Right. The collapsing ruins. A major revelation. An unexpected attack. Players should be excited to return for the next chapter. The next episode. Make the Hollow Earth feel different. The Hollow Earth should not feel like another jungle map. It should feel like a world that evolves separately from the surface. Everything should reinforce that sense of discovery. Different cultures, strange geography, unique creatures, ancient mysteries, unexplained phenomena. Players should feel they have entered somewhere truly unknown. Basically, imagine going to a past that has it doesn't connect with the earth you know. Right? Like, or is it's still going? You're in an active living world. Right? The tribes are still there, the guys are still doing the thing, right? All right. In the game, YouTube, in the game, avoid overusing Nazis. Many pulp settings use Nazis as villains. They certainly have a place in Hollow Earth Expedition. However, if every adventure becomes Nazis found another artifact, the setting can become predictable. Mix in rival explorers, lost civilizations, secret societies, criminal organizations, and natural dangers. Variety keeps the campaign fresh. It doesn't mean they don't exist, and they will exist, but don't always make them the problem the player characters are dealing with. Right? Maybe it's the rivals. It is another secret society who's trying to hide from them, or maybe groups competing with them, not just you competing with them. Right? Variety. Everybody's trying to play a game. You're not just competing with one group. So make it that you're actually finding yourself, or the characters are finding themselves competing with the other groups, not just that one group. Right? What players usually remember. Years later, players rarely remember the statistics of a dinosaur. They remember the city they discovered, the expedition they saved, the ancient mystery they solved, the rival who escaped, the civilization they encountered, the impossible place they found beneath the earth. The focus on adventure and discovery, or focus on adventure and discovery first. Everything else supports those goals. Run Hollow Earth Expedition like an old pulp, movie, right? Keep the story moving. Let the heroes be capable. Reward curiosity. Fill the world with mystery and discoveries. Use reoccurring rivals. Embrace pulp logic when needed, and make players feel like daring adventurers exploring a hidden world that no one should have found. It's like the secret, hideaway of the thing. Like, how did we not know this was here? Right? Okay. Hope you're enjoying so far, Black Rose. Remember, it's members only. So I won't be doing the extra stuff, but I will be doing character creation next, and then the setting. There is expansions for this, and really good ones too. And I hope you go look into them if you're interested in this. I won't be mentioning them here because I purposely want to be able to talk about them, and I do have a part for them, but that will be for the public full stream on this, right? And months to come, many months to come before I cover this in public. But I'll be doing the character creation advice, and then I'll be doing the setting. All this is good for the straight game. So if you can get your hands on the game itself, this is good. Like even without the expansions, if you just get the pure base game for 2006, this will kick ass. My advice here will kick ass. I'll make the setting make sense to you, and you'll get advice about the setting. The fluff is still the fluff. There is some additional stuff, just like the rules and that. I'll let you discover a bit more about that yourself by getting into the game. There is style points. I'll give you a quick run. Style points is like many of the other things you know in games. Style points is more about helping you make a situation cooler, making it easier, making it more exciting. You could jump over the thing better, maybe less difficulty. Yeah. I love the Lost World. I love all that, and I was amazed when they brought this out. It was like I knew right away who would be checking it out, so I went over, and of course, Ruinslinger always sort of had an anti D&D group. They hated the whole AD&D Dungeons and Dragons part of the tabletop role playing game YouTube community, but the D&D community is always big on this stuff and the forums to that. So the guys always felt very separate. What made it weird for me was in the hobby, most people do not mix. I'll be real with you, Black Rose. Most don't mix. Like if you don't play D&D, you don't play D&D at all. Or if you play D&D, you usually don't play a lot of these other games. Like, so when you meet a guy like Max played Earth Dawn, or somebody who plays like sort of a middle ground game guys will play a mix. I'm a rarity where I played a lot of D&D, but because I'm fucking crazy, and I came up around a bunch of old guys that just decided to collect games for fun, that I was insane. And I discovered things like it was more like by accident. I start reading things like Traveler, going, I could try this, dude. And would I have ever reached out to D&D if it wasn't for them? I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know if those guys, if those mentors weren't around me and the access to that stuff wasn't there. I don't know if I would have ever leaned into D&D. I could be real with you. I don't know. I don't know if I would have discovered or bothered to discover the wider hobby. But then I did. Now, some guys discover minimal parts of the other hobby. Like they'll be in the Star Wars, so they'll discover Star Wars, but that's still it. Right? The secret to me was discovering Traveler. I'll be real with you. That got me to look at all. Star Wars wouldn't have, other games wouldn't have, because it didn't do that for other people. They didn't usually get into 50 games just by going from D&D to Star Wars and back, or even Palladium. Most people went to Palladium, they'd stay with Palladium. I went to Traveler, and for Traveler was so weird that I said, okay, let me check out other games. And that happened for a lot of Traveler guys. But then there's Traveler guys that never touched D&D. And it's weird because a lot of people, the majority of the people in the hobby are in their own camps, already in their own tribes, even back in the 80s. So when I say tribal, it wasn't as extreme. Like as you see the online arguments and insults and attacks and people staying in their tribes. But it's weird. When you look at it, it was just people in their own gimmicks. I'm one of the only people, and everybody noticed it around me. Steven does everything. Like you'd meet a Traveler guy, be like, "Oh, you're just you're D&D guys." They'd be like, other than Steven. What do you mean? Steven loves D&D, but he loves Traveler too. Huh? Yeah. So I fuck guys. That's why I watch D&D people, but I'd also go watch Sam OG, Ruin Slinger, people like that were this whole other YouTube section that kept separate away from each other. But I interacted with all people. It's just so easy to play and interesting that I gotta tell you, if I say Gangbusters is a good game. But if you go look at the book, it doesn't look impressive. Right? You gotta remember the game is here. So where the game comes to life is here. So when I promote a game to you, I'm not lying to you about the game being great from being here. Looking at the game, physically, the copies, the books, the material, not all of them look fucking as amazing as you might think, especially older games. But if you're creative like me and you get enthusiastic about what you can do with something, you can make anything come to life. Right? Now I'm dead serious about that. So I gotta be real with you. When you first look at Traveler, it's going to look a little grindy and old. It will. But when you start sitting down and doing it and you start playing to your imagination what you can do with it, that's when the game starts coming to life for you. Right? Like when you start into the character creation, consider what you can do and make in the world, that's when the game, it rises above the appearance of the material. Like it comes to life in your mind. And that's really where the game is. And once you realize what you can do, no matter how simple the material piece looks, that's when games come to life and look amazing. Because a lot of people look at old school D&D, like OD&D, and they'll look at it and they look at the simple books they see and they're like, man, that looks boring as small. I'm like, you're right, it does. Well, what are people amazed? Like, how does it amaze people? Here. That's when the game comes to life, baby. Because once I say go ahead and think about this stuff and try to put a game together, if you try, no matter how the material looks, you'll start realizing I could do this for that. Oh, that's why these books don't matter their appearance. Exactly. All right, and so now some of the new material looks great, but sometimes it looks better than it actually is. Like 5e is an example of a game that the more you put it in here, the more it breaks. The more it doesn't work that well. So no matter how pretty the books are, you get the opposite effect. Right? Sadly, because you realize just how junky the combat is. You realize that once you don't get good combat and it's not simple, it makes things less accessible. You become less creative the more your imagination is filled in with the stuff they're trying to force into your mind. So it's like when you got to do what they're saying more than you got to do what you're thinking about doing. That's when your creativity dies. It's why do the old games come to life in your mind so well? It's because in your mind, the more simple something is, the more you fill the gaps in with your imagination, right? The more you have to be creative. But it's in that process that your creativity gets spun up. Your motor goes, your thinking goes. And the more you think, the more energy you get. I'm being real here with you. That's why older games to me have magic in a way that the newer audience doesn't understand. I'm like, there is magic back here that is more valuable. It is gold. It's more valuable than they could even come close to understanding. Like, it's so valuable, they don't understand. I'm like, they think it's old. I'm like, you are to the new school. They are confused. They have lost Deadlands. Look at old Deadlands is. Are you telling me when I sell that to you that you don't like? Does it matter that it's old? You know it doesn't. You know there's magic there, baby. Right? You know it. You know it when you hear it. And you know, it doesn't matter what timeline you're in. You could be 18 right now. I can pitch that to you, and you can be like, holy fuck. Yeah. Doesn't matter when it came up, baby. Doesn't matter. All that old means nothing. Actually, the old is better because the old school understood how your mind worked. That's why, in ways, we've degraded, we de-evolved in the hobby, trying to appease the masses. Because the quality of the gaming was peak for hobbyists. And we try to open the game up to more people. What we do, instead of improving the game, we degrade it. Oh, yeah, definitely. But think about what we did. The more we open the masses, the more simple the game goes, the less we think, the less we get creative. When we open it even more to the masses with WotC, and even the other games doing it with their newer editions, quality of the game drops, thinking drops, imagination drops. So the more we simplify the game, the more we de-evolve from where we were actually at peak. Might just be your gimmick to run it. Because I think you want to run it. I think after, like, I'm assuming after you heard Deadlands, you're like, okay, I gotta be me. Gotta be me that does that. Sometimes you're not the forever game master, dude. You're the dedicated one. Game mastering is my thrill. Playing to me is secondary. How I play the game, if you want to put it that way, is game master. So I never use the term forever game master with me. It's dedicated. Dedicated because I love it. But here's what I'd warn you, though. Warn you. But you're already a sympathetic guy, but keep it up. Try to be understanding about how it comes across to players. You remember what it's like to be a player? Don't forget that. I won't ruin it, but I'll make sure that when you do good game, it's going to be quality. It's going to be top notch. All right. But don't forget how a player thinks. That's the most. I played for 10 years. The one thing I made sure was, it's that little talk I have with you when I tell you about, I never just kick players straight out. I give warnings. Because I know the other players are watching, because no matter how he acts to a degree, he still represents them. And no matter how justified I might feel, sometimes no matter what I feel, the way I treat him, some players will look at that as a reflection of how I might treat them. So always try to understand where a player is, so you don't become the old, cranky, frustrated game master. Remember, like, you're assuming they know stuff if you tell them information. Understand how people fill things in with assumptions and gaps. Right? Like, always keep in mind how players think and how much sometimes you have to inform them to make things clear. So just remember, even if you keep the game mastering up, right, it doesn't mean you got to run back to being a player, but never forget what it is to be a player. That's really some of the best advice I could ever give, because I've seen so many guys that go nothing but game mastering, and they forget. These guys that lose their minds and get frustrated. No matter how nice they were before, too. Don't think just because you're a nice guy that you won't get frustrated and pissed off. That's a real thing. So keep in mind how players think. Be sympathetic. You already naturally are, but you can still get away from that. So always keep in mind to be sympathetic, but their position given lack of knowledge compared to what you know about something, etc., 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 and how you treat a player that that how you treat that person, look, it doesn't mean you can't kick somebody out, but how you treat them does sometimes reflect to the other people. So it's like, no matter how impatient you want, like how bad it is, sometimes you've got to give a warning and give an opportunity. But once you give the warning, if they break again, be strict. Be strict. Be the prick. Because long-term gaming matters. Sometimes you got to be the prick after the warning, get people off your table. But boom. Oh yeah, but you can lose it. So just don't lose it. But also be strict too. Fair, but when they break, you give a warning and they do it again, especially your public gaming. Okay, dude, you're off the table. Because when you run into troublemakers, if you let them in after the trouble more than once, like you give the warning and they keep doing it, they won't respect you. So you got to be like that, right? Good. In home groups, as long as you have a good relationship, it's like you have that talk. Like, look, guys, you can't do this stuff because in public gaming, I have to kick you off the table if you don't act right and we don't get these things going. But if you have a good group, that's usually not an issue. I'm not like you. I've been a public game master for so long. Even when I play at home, I'm the type my family and friends would know that I would make an example of them. They just know. I get you. You're different. I try to give some advice for work. At work, it would work and it should work. But I get some people are in different situations. So let's get to character creation now. Character creation advice for Hollow Earth Expedition. First rule, make an adventure hero. Make an adventure hero. Hollow Earth Expedition is built around pulp adventure. When creating a character, think less about ordinary people and more about the heroes who star in adventure novels, movies, and TV shows. Your character should be someone who willingly boards the expedition, enters the lost city, opens the ancient door, investigates the mystery. Meaning, when you put the stuff in front of them, these guys want to go at it. They're not like hesitating on, oh man, I don't know. Like, these are the guys that are like, man, this train going by, it's like your last chance to get on. He's like, you already see, he's like the first guy getting on. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's do this. In this game, in some other games, that would be bad. In this game, that's the right way to be playing. Ready to jump in. Ready to jump in. Occupation matters. Occupations matter. Unlike many RPGs, Hollow Earth Expedition does not rely on classes. Who your character is often matters as much as what they can do. Common character concepts include explorer, archaeologist, scientist, pilot, journalist, soldier, big game hunter, adventurer, occult, investigator, spy. Your occupation helps establish your place in the world and often provides the foundation for your skills and expertise. Know your pulp archetype. Many successful characters begin with a simple archetype. You do not need to be trapped by the archetype, but it gives the character a strong foundation and helps establish how they fit into the story. The best pulp heroes are usually easy to understand and easy to imagine in action. You know if you're the spy type, right? It's understanding those archetypes that you are. They're not hard to get the type of characters you're going to make. So understand it. Give yourself a reason, or tell your players to give yourself a reason to join the expedition. One of the easiest mistakes is creating a character who has no reason to leave home. So basically, make a character that's made for the expected gameplay. A guy who should be getting out. A guy who's made to get out. Like, this guy is the guy who gets out and does the shit. This is the archaeologist that shows up in the fucking crazy place. It's like, oh man, what about the archaeologist that just does a little digging? No, this is the guy who goes way out into the jungle and gets lost trying to find shit. Right? Like, it's just basically have a personality, have a character type that plays into the expectations that you need to be willing to get out there and take chances. All right, so it should be, you want your players to want to make characters that want to take chances. Ask yourself, why do I seek adventure? Why would I enter the Hollow Earth? What am I hoping to find? What risk am I willing to take? That these are the guys wanting to discover the secrets, and they know, man, if you're not willing to go down the sewers, you ain't gonna find shit. Shit's down the sewers. The best characters naturally move towards adventure instead of needing constant persuasion. Basically, if you have a character that's like this, your players playing to the character will want to go to the thing. Well, I mean, you guys could get in there if you wanted to. You want to have players playing characters where they're like, yeah, we want to. You want them to feel like that's what their character would do, so they play true to character. Build for the campaign. Not every Hollow Earth Expedition campaign focuses on the same things. Some campaigns emphasize exploration, archaeology, scientific discovery, treasure hunting, espionage, military action, mystery solving. Knowing the campaign focus before spending points can help create a character who shines in the adventures ahead. So, look, if the adventure is a trot around looking for many treasures, that's, you know what I mean? If treasure hunting is going to be the main focus of the overall campaign, make a character with the skills to benefit that type of thing, or scientific discovery, or archaeology. I mean, it's whatever it is, they should understand. They should have some idea. So make sure your own way, if you're game mastering it, that the idea, the sort of pitch to the game, gives them an idea of what they would be doing, the expectation. These guys are hiring you to go deal with, to secure places like military, right? Doesn't mean you don't have a variety of people, but then, you might have a couple players that are making characters for sure that are going to be competent towards that thing. Competence matters. Paul players are usually good at something. Make sure your character has at least one area where they can reliably contribute. You do not need to be the best at everything. You do not bring something valuable, or you do need to bring something valuable to the group. So don't spread out your points too much. It doesn't mean you don't pick a few things, but definitely consider one area where you're like, man, I'm going to be top notch right there. That's going to be my goal line right there. That's the thing I'm best at. Avoid over specialization. It can be tempting to focus entirely on a single skill set. The problem is that Hollow Earth Expeditions campaigns often involve exploration, investigation, social interaction, survival, tribal combat, mystery solving, and character. With some versatility, often has more opportunities to shine. That's where I say you definitely want to be good at something, but you do want to have a couple other options to back that up, right? So it just don't overspread, but that doesn't mean just one area either. Don't simplify the character. Have a couple backup things. Social skills are valuable, especially in a game, story game. Many new players focus heavily on combat abilities and practice a surprising number of adventures involve negotiation, diplomacy, leadership, gathering information, persuasion, deception. A character who can influence people can be just as valuable as a character who can win a fight. Actually, if you can negotiate your way through stuff, you can get the gold with way less fighting, and actually fighting cause you way more trouble and put so many more difficulties in your way, say in some cases, right? Knowledge skills matter. Knowledge is often one of the most useful tools in the game. Characters with strong academic or scientific skills may be the ones who translate ancient writings, identify discoveries, understand lost civilizations, solve historical mysteries, explain strange phenomena. Many adventures become easier because someone in the group knows the right answer. Imagine someone you come upon a tribe, you have no idea what their customs are. They could lock you up for something, but you got the guy who knows. Right? These guys, look, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we trade with them without getting in trouble. Right? Create useful connections. Think about the people and organizations connected to your character. You might have ties to universities, museums, military organizations, scientific societies, secret societies, wealthy patrons, criminal networks. These connections can give the GM useful material for future adventures. They could be helping you out if you get to them. They could be getting you to the next spot. Like imagine they provide you certain gear. They could have people waiting for you. So it's beneficial if you succeed to get to them, to go to the next. And it's an excuse like, you work with the military, man. They're going to get you to the next place. You don't have to worry about how you get there. You're going for it. Those guys will get you there. Right. Give your character a goal. Strong pulp characters usually want something. Examples include discovering a lost civilization, finding a legendary artifact, proving a scientific theory, becoming famous, solving an ancient mystery, protecting humanity from a hidden threat. A personal goal helps drive the character forward. Basic, but it does really give you a strive. And the second your goal is opportunity, again, you need to take initiative. There's the thing you're going to take the initiative for. Flaws create better stories. A perfect hero is really interesting. Consider giving your character overconfidence, curiosity, greed, obsession, pride, recklessness, rivalries. In ways, things that will still drive them, even if they're considered like overconfidence. I mean, he's going to go for it, even if it gets us in trouble. But you need that type of forward movement, even if it is careless, right? Or rivalries. Guys you're going to compete with. Like, we're fucking getting this first before that cunt gets to it. You need it. These are not merely weaknesses. In Pulp Fiction, they're often the reason adventures happen in the first place. Many heroes get in trouble because they cannot resist chasing a mystery or pursuing a discovery. Work with the group. The game assumes a team of adventurers. Avoid creating characters who refuse cooperation or constantly fights in the party. It's a team sport, baby. This game requires the team to work together. It really does. It really does. Regardless of small, soft personality conflicts, like different personalities are fine. Different goals are fine. A character who never works with others usually creates more problems than interesting stories. Meaning, even if they want the other thing, they're willing to help and they work with the team to get the thing they are after. Right? It drives things forward instead of getting you stalled in petty argument. And remember, this is storytelling. It's storytelling, not just gameplay, but it is game, but it's story. Embrace the setting. The game takes place in an alternate 1936. Think about how your characters fit into the world. Consider occupation, nationality, education, social status, travel experience, personal beliefs. These details help make the character feel like they are part of a setting rather than a generic adventurer. Think pulp hero, not superhero. The game supports a colorful and memorable characters, but most protagonists are still grounded by pulp standards. Think Indiana Jones, classic adventurers, daring explorers, not comic book superheroes with impossible abilities. What makes a good Hex character? A good Hollow Earth expedition character is capable, curious, proactive, useful to the group, willing to take risks, interested in exploration, ready for adventure. If your character naturally wants to investigate the mystery ruins instead of walking away from them, you're probably on the right track. Create someone who belongs in a pulp adventure story. Give them a reason to seek danger, a useful specialty, a goal worth pursuing, and enough curiosity to walk to the door marked "Do Not Enter." The best Hex characters help create adventures rather than wait for them to happen. Remember, it's still old school gaming, even in 2006. The game is about the experience, so my advice is top notch. Because if you go the other way, your experience can be dull. And so my advice here is to make sure you're not having a dull experience, because the experience will matter. Okay. The setting. A world beneath The world, the central premise of Hollow Earth Expedition is simple. Hollow Earth legends are true. Beneath the surface of the Earth exists a vast hidden world that has remained largely unknown to modern civilization. This hidden realm contains prehistoric creatures, lost civilizations, ancient mysteries, and secrets that could reshape humanity's understanding of history. Everything in the setting grows from that idea. The surface world. The game begins in an alternate version of 1936. At first glance, the world appears familiar. Nations exist where you would expect them to exist. Technology resembles the real world. History largely follows the path players recognize. However, this is pulp adventure version of Earth. Ancient mysteries are real. Lost cities may actually exist. Secret organizations operate in the shadows. Forgotten artifacts possess genuine importance. Explorers, scientists, adventurers, spies, and treasure hunters search the globe for discoveries that conventional history cannot explain. The surface world is not simply a starting location. Many mysteries originate there, rival organizations operate there, and discoveries on the surface often lead directly to adventures beneath the Earth. The road to the Hollow Earth. Reaching the Hollow Earth is an adventure in itself. Hidden entrances exist throughout the world. Many are difficult to find, dangerous to access, or known only through legend and clues. As a result, expedition often begins with archaeology investigations, treasure hunts, secret maps, and races against rival explorers before the Hollow Earth is ever reached. The journey to the Hollow Earth is often as important as what waits inside of it. The interior sun. One of the most distinctive features of the setting is the interior sun. Rather than being a dark underground cavern, the Hollow Earth is illuminated by a mysterious sun located within the planet itself. This creates a fully functional world with light, ecosystem, weather, civilization, and wildlife. For many players, the first sight of the interior sun is one of the setting's most memorable ideas. The prehistoric wilderness. Much of the Hollow Earth consists of vast, untamed wilderness, dense jungles, swamps, mountains, rivers, volcano regions, and unexplored territory stretch across enormous distances. Large portions of the world remain unmapped. This helps create the feeling that the explorers are venturing into places no modern human has ever seen. The land of dinosaurs. One of the most famous aspects of the setting is the survival of prehistoric life. Dinosaurs and other ancient creatures continue to exist within the Hollow Earth. For many groups, encountering a living dinosaur is a moment when the reality of the setting truly sinks in. These creatures are not merely monsters to fight. They are evidence that accepted history is incomplete and that impossible things may actually be real. Atlantis and the Lost World. Tradition. The setting embraces many classic pulp era mysteries. Atlantis plays an important role in the background lore and is tied to some of the setting's ancient secrets. Rather than treating Atlantis as pure myth, Hollow Earth Expedition follows the pulp tradition of asking, what if the legend were true? This approach helps connect the setting to the adventure fiction that inspired it. Mu and Forgotten Civilizations. The legendary lost continent of Mu also influences the setting. Like Atlantis, Mu represents the idea advanced civilizations may exist long before recorded history. These concepts were common in pulp fiction and early speculative adventure stories, making them a natural fit for the Hollow Earth Expedition. The game embraces these ideas as part of a larger sense of mystery and discovery. A living world. The Hollow Earth is not an empty wilderness waiting to be explored. It is a living world filled with societies, cultures, history, and conflicts. Explorers are entering a place that already has inhabitants, traditions, politics, political realities. This creates opportunities for diplomacy, alliances, misunderstandings, trade, and conflict. Multiple cultures and people. The setting contains far more than dinosaurs and lost ruins. Numerous civilizations and intelligent people inhabit the Hollow Earth. Some preserve ancient traditions. Others have developed in complete isolation from the surface world. The result is a setting where cultural discovery is often just as important as physical exploration. Ancient mysteries. The setting is filled with unanswered questions. Who built the Forgotten Ruins? What happened to the vanished civilizations? Why does the Hollow Earth exist? What secret remains hidden beneath the surface? The mysteries help drive campaigns and give explorers reasons to continue pushing deeper into the unknown. Pulp science and impossible ideas. One of the setting's defining features is its willingness to embrace pulp science. Ideas that would be dismissed in the real world often prove true within the setting. Lost continents, ancient super civilizations, forgotten technologies, strange discoveries, unexplained phenomena. The game thrives on the sense that reality is far larger and stranger than modern science realizes. Rivals, expeditions, and secret organizations. The player characters are rarely the only people searching for answers. Numerous groups seek to access the Hollow Earth and the treasures hidden inside. Some pursue scientific knowledge, others seek wealth, power, military advantage, or ancient secrets. These rivals often become reoccurring enemies, uneasy allies, or long term competitors. Exploration above combat. Although action is important, the setting's greatest strength is exploration. The world constantly rewards curiosity. Every expedition offers opportunities to discovery: lost cities, ancient ruins, strange creatures, forgotten cultures, hidden knowledge, unexplained phenomena. The setting works best when players feel that another great discovery is always waiting beyond the horizon. The spirit of the setting. At its heart, Hollow Earth is a setting about wonder. It asks players to imagine a world where adventure stories are true, the impossible exists, the unknown still waits to be discovered, ancient mysteries remain unsolved, and beneath the earth lies a forgotten world filled with danger, opportunity, and endless exploration. Why the setting stands out? Many RPG settings focus on war, politics, survival, or horror. Hollow Earth Expedition focuses on discovery. Its greatest strength is not dinosaurs, Atlantis, secret societies, or lost cities individually. Its greatest strength is combining all of those pulp adventure elements into a single setting where the exploration and wonder remain at the center of every campaign. Hollow Earth Expedition takes place in an alternate 1936 where ancient mysteries, lost continents, and secret societies are real. Beneath the earth lies a hidden world illuminated by the interior sun. It's populated by dinosaurs, lost civilizations, forgotten cultures, Atlantis-inspired mysteries, and ancient secrets. The setting is built around exploration, discovery, and classic pulp adventures. I hope you enjoyed that.